So what's in the car besides what's in your purse?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't believe you.
I really don't know.
You've already been lying to me this whole time.
Welcome back to Advocacy, Alchemy with Professor Ross. Today we have a good one, guys. We're headed to Holbrook, Arizona, deep in Navajo County, where a traffic stop turns into a high-stakes drug bust involving meth, heroin, and fentanyl. We also have two suspects that take the police on a chase. What starts with inconsistent answers quickly escalates into a full-blown canine search, foot pursuit, and the seizure of over 20,000 fentanyl pills and more than 12 pounds of methamphetamine. In this lecture, we'll break down the legal framework behind this stop, the moment-by-moment clues that tipped off officers, and the role that intuition played. We'll unpack the evidentiary standards needed to escalate from a hunch to handcuffs, and finally, we'll take a seat in the jury box to consider if these defendants were caught fairly or not. With that, let's jump in.
Zustand, Laney. Zustand. Okay. Hey. You're okay. Kilo. Sydney. Sydney. Joy. Sydney. Ready? Draw. Okay. Hi. $19.15 positive canine alert. What's going on, bud? Deputy Officer, Navajo County Sheriff's Office. So my dog's trained to alert to 5 odors, okay?
Okay.
Cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, fentanyl, and marijuana. He's indicated a positive alert to your vehicle. Is there any of those 5 odors in the vehicle?
No.
No one smokes any of that?
I actually have some weed on me.
Oh, okay.
I have a little package of weed on me.
Okay. I'm not worried about a little package of weed. Do you guys have anything else in the vehicle?
No.
Does anyone smoke any other drugs, fentanyl, methamphetamine?
No.
You guys haven't given any rides to anybody that uses any of those?
No, not that I know. I mean, the car may have before we got it, but that was a few days ago.
Okay, so when you just got the car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So in the state of Arizona, positive counter gives us probable cause to search a vehicle, so we're going to be searching the vehicle. Having said that, I'm giving you one last opportunity to tell me if I'm going to find anything other than a small amount of marijuana in the vehicle.
No.
Nope. All right. Hang out with this officer right here, okay?
Okay.
I got foils. Nothing in it, but you don't smoke weed out of a foil. Foot pursuit! Foot pursuit! Stop! You're getting tased! Stop! Stop, ma'am!
Okay, I'm sorry.
Taser deployed!
He told me to run.
Put your hands behind your back now.
I'm sorry. Please.
1 668. 668 still on a foot pursuit heading down Navajo.
Sorry, you told me to run. I don't know anything that's going on. Sir, could you please talk to me?
Yeah, you're under arrest.
I know I am. But what's going on?
You had drugs in your purse. That's what's going on.
I'm drugging my purse.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, no, I didn't. I've been set up. I fell asleep.
Stand up.
Okay, I can't. Did you fix my glasses? Did you catch him? Oh,
Stop.
I can't.
Stop.
Okay,
Stop. Are you serious?
I'm sorry.
Are you f***ing
I'm
serious?
about to fall, dude. I can't do this.
Stop.
Okay, let me get up, please.
Get up. Get up.
Okay, hold on. I need my hand. Please. I'm not gonna.
What do you mean you're not going to run? You just ran. Stand up off to your left.
What's a phone?
Can you hold it for a second?
Please.
Oh, they got 10 right there.
I'm sorry. You told me to run. I didn't know what was happening.
You have anything on you that's going to poke me, stick me,
No.
stab me?
I don't have front pockets.
What do you mean you don't have anything?
Yeah, that's fentanyl. It's not gonna poke you or stab you. Do you know if they caught him?
They're going to. Where's he going to go?
I don't know.
This is stupid.
I'm sorry. I don't even know what's going on.
They're still chasing him.
Is he taking it? Can I talk to you, maybe? Get out of this, please. I have kids.
You want to go help them? The whole cemetery by American Legion is up one block. So what's in the car besides what's in your purse?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't believe you.
I really don't know.
You've already been lying to me this whole time.
I'm sure. I'm sorry. Can I
Come stand by the front of my car. You can stand there and be quiet for a second. No, right here. Right here.
Hey, stand it, please.
Sit down. Cross your legs. I need EMS to the location of the original traffic stop. I did tase the 101.
Please?
Huh?
Can I get some water?
In a second.
Is there a way I can get my... Could you get my water, please?
In a second.
Out.
We got medical coming to check on you. Okay, 1 second, okay?
Please.
We got medical coming to check you out. 1 second.
I
Hey,
can't
sit.
sit down. I can't. I feel like I'm
So we had 2 run. I tased the female. She's in custody. They're still chasing the male subject through the cemetery. We don't know what else in the car yet. I found it looks like meth in her purse, and she's got fentanyl on her person. Sounds like they got him 10-15 right now, so they should be bringing him back here.
Please, please.
EMS is coming to check you out, okay?
Please.
I'm not doing anything until I get another officer here, okay? Because I'm not going to have you take off running again. I already had tased you once.
I'm not gonna run, dude. I fell there. He told me to run.
Did the taser connect with you?
Yes, it
Okay.
did. I feel like I'm seized up,
Okay,
sir.
hang on. So we got, looks like one of the barbs already fell out.
Oh, please, please. Can I please get some water?
You need to calm down for a second.
I'll walk over there with you. I just
That's
need
not going to
water,
happen.
sir.
EMS is going to come around the corner any second. They'll be able to get you some fluids.
No, I don't need food. I need water.
Fluids. So right now you're under arrest for possession of dangerous drugs, possession of narcotic drugs. possession of drug
Okay.
paraphernalia, and felony flight. Okay?
Felony
Felony
flight.
resisting. You took off running. That's what it means. So you're looking at right now
Show me
4
the
felony
run.
charges.
Show me the run.
Okay, doesn't mean you had to do it.
Okay, how can I get out of it?
Tell me what's in the car.
Tell you what's in the car and you'll let me go.
Tell me what's in the car and we can talk about it. I'm not going to promise you
I
anything.
don't know what's in the car though.
Okay, well, I know you're not telling me the truth. You got meth in your purse. You got fentanyl on your person.
I smoked
What did
fentanyl.
you guys pick up in the Phoenix?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Where did you guys
I
go
stayed
in
at the
Phoenix?
hotel by myself. Because I had visits with my boyfriend. And my kids, and my 2 kids.
You're
and
lucky
my
I didn't send my
son.
dog on you.
Oh, my son. Oh, God, 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 I just want to get out of here.
Well, I can tell you right now, running from the police is now...
I know it's not. I know it's not. I need
Yeah, hang tight. EMS will get you some, okay? Stop.
I'm not playing.
I know. Okay, then sit down. Sit down. Just relax. Okay?
Is that them?
That's your boyfriend.
It's not my boyfriend.
So what is he to you if he's not your boyfriend?
It's not my boyfriend, he promised.
You want to sit back down? You want to sit on her for a second?
Yeah.
She had fentanyl and fentanyl paraphernalia in her pocket. Where's your water?
It's the white foam cup.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Hey, watch her. Hey! Nice pop, bro. All blues. 1915. Change nature of this call to drugs. Both are going to be under arrest for transportation of narcotic drugs. Hey, get an evidence bag! So what do you want to tell me about this? Alright, well, just so you're aware, you're not going to jail for transportation of a narcotic drug. Okay? Yeah. So, either more blues or possibly meth. So, you're going to jail for transporting drugs, alright?
Is there a way, like, I could say, like, possibly like, the outfit?
Hang tight. Alright. Hey. So she's just saying she's dehydrated. She took off running from us. And then she slid down this hill right here. So she's saying that her legs kind of banged up.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I think so. And then she was also tased. So,
Okay.
yeah, so the unit's coming right now. He's like 10 miles out. So if you guys want to get her loaded up.
Okay, yeah. Come this way.
So,
All this stuff?
yeah, that's all going. This is ceases evidence now.
Okay.
They're both gonna try to run from the hospital. So, when he does, we'll have both you guys go there, and then just have you sit on them because we don't want them taken off. Oh shit! Hey, Tubbs,
Hey, yo.
take a pic of this, bro.
This is a good aim right here, man. Shit. Good stop, bro.
Great stuff.
Shit. Great fucking stop.
just so you're aware, we just found a bunch more meth. So, probably 10 to 20 pounds. I'm pulling it out now.
Let's break down the charges these two suspects are now facing under the Arizona law. And as always, we'll walk through each charge and what it means and what the prosecution needs to prove and how the facts match up to these charges. First, let's start with transportation of narcotic drugs for sale. This is found at the Arizona Revised Statute, Section 13-3408, Section A7. This statute makes it a felony to transport or import into Arizona, sell, transfer, or offer to transport narcotic drugs, including fentanyl and heroin, all with the intent to sell or distribute. To prove this, the prosecution must show the defendants knowingly transported or possessed a narcotic drug. The quantity and packaging suggested here show the intent to sell and not just personal use. In this case, officers uncovered 20,000 fentanyl pills and 2 pounds of heroin and over 12 pounds of meth during this vehicle search. That amount, plus the packaging, will all be used to argue intent to traffic and not just possess these drugs. Next, we have possession of dangerous drugs. This is found at the statutes, Section 13-3407A1. Arizona defines methamphetamine as a dangerous drug. Possessing it knowingly is a Class 4 felony, and if possession is for the purpose of sale or trafficking, the charge elevates to a Class 2 felony. Here, meth was discovered both on the female suspect's person and in bulk inside the car. This ties her not only to the personal possession, but to the overall trafficking operation. As a Class 4 felony, simple possession carries between 1 and about 3 years and 9 months. Class 2 felonies for possession of sale or the transport of drugs carries between 3 years and 12.5 years. All right, number 3. Possession of drug paraphernalia. This is found at 13-3415. It says any object used to store, consume, or package illegal drugs like foils, baggies, and pipes can support paraphernalia charges. In this case, officers found foils inconsistent with marijuana use and hinting at either heroin or fentanyl usage. The penalty is a Class 6 felony. This carries between 4 months and 2 years in prison. Probation is a possibility for first-time offenders. Next, we have felony flight from law enforcement. This is found at 28-622.01. Running from police after being ordered to stop on foot or in a vehicle is unlawful flight. This is a felony offense. All right, here both suspects ran. The female was tased. The male led officers on a foot pursuit over the fence and through a cemetery, as we heard. This is a Class 5 felony. It carries between 6 months and 2.5 years in prison. It also can carry up to 3 years of probation, plus fines, and a person's driver's license could be suspended. Next, we have resisting arrest. This is found at 13-2508. A person commits this offense by using or threatening physical force or by causing risk of injury, all to avoid being lawfully arrested. In this case, both suspects physically resisted. One was tased after fleeing, the other was tackled and subdued. This is a Class 6 felony. If it's just for physical resistance, it carries a punishment of between 4 months and 2 years in prison. Now, it's a Class 1 misdemeanor, which is the highest level of misdemeanor, if there is passive resistance. So that carries up to 6 months in jail, a fine of up to $2,500. All right, finally, our last sort of law or charge to look at is these out-of-state warrants and extradition. All right, this is all found in the 13-3842 and the sections that come directly afterward. And it says that Arizona participates in the Uniform Criminal Extradition Act, allowing transfer of individuals wanted in other states. Here, the female suspect had multiple out-of-state warrants. All right, those could result in extradition back to those states who are looking for this woman, so she can resolve those cases. All right, now this is not a separate charge, but it does allow the police to detain her and prepare her for transport back to wherever state is looking for her. That's why the police have a national database. They check for warrants, Now also understand that if she wants to make a plea deal on this, those other charges in another state can complicate the plea deal because she has to handle that business before she can accept any kind of plea, or usually before any kind of plea is offered in this other state. In the justice system, everything depends on how much proof the government has, and not all the evidence is always created equal. Let's walk through the 6 levels of evidentiary standards, from the weakest to the strongest, and see how each one played a role in this Arizona drug bust. First, you have mere suspicion. Mere suspicion is the lowest level of evidence. It's just a gut feeling or some vague sense that something seems off. It's not enough to stop or search a person, but it can start an officer to pay attention to what's happening. An example, at the beginning of this stop, the couple seems anxious. That could be a reason to have just a mere suspicion that something's off, but it's not enough to do anything about. Now, the officer did start off our video where we see the dog being brought out. The dog does bring us to quickly probable cause. But before that, let's jump into number 2, reasonable suspicion. Reasonable suspicion means the officer can point to specific, articulable facts that would lead a reasonable person to believe criminal activity may be afoot or criminal activity is occurring. This allows for a brief detention or an investigation, like a traffic stop or a canine sniff. A good example is the inconsistent stories from the driver and the passenger, along with signs of nervousness and unclear vehicle ownership that gives deputies enough to justify a canine sniff around the car. Number 3, probable cause. Probable cause is a reasonable belief based on facts and evidence that a crime has been committed and the suspect is involved. It authorizes the government to arrest people, authorizes vehicle searches, and it authorizes going to go get a warrant. Here, the positive canine alert to narcotics, that creates a probable cause to search the vehicle under the Arizona law. Now, the law is going to be essentially the same across all 50 states. Once the deputy found drugs in the woman's purse and on her person, probable cause expanded to include arrest for possession and transportation. Next, we have preponderance of the evidence. This standard means that something is more likely true than not. It's used in civil cases mostly, and it requires that you have at least 51% of the evidence in your favor to win this type of case. Here, if the prosecutor wanted to seize the vehicle used to transport these drugs through the civil forfeiture method, they would only need to prove it's more likely than not that the car is used in the commission of a crime. Number 5, clear and convincing evidence. All right, this is higher than preponderance. This evidence must show that something is highly probable and substantially more likely to be true than not. This level requires about 75% of the evidence in your favor to win this type of case. This is also used in civil cases, but it's also used in certain family law cases, also in administrative law cases like for employment, labor disputes, things of that nature. You might see this in a criminal setting if a person is trying to bring a special defense or if the state is trying to bring certain enhancements. All right. Once again, to prove your case, you need about 75% of the evidence in your favor. A good example is if the female suspect challenged extradition or tried to suppress evidence claiming the drugs weren't hers, she might need to present clear and convincing evidence to overcome the body cam footage and the officer testimony. All right, finally, we have beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, this is the highest standard in the American justice system. To convict someone of a crime, the jury must believe that the defendant is guilty to a moral certainty. Now, that's not to absolute certainty. It only requires about 90 to 95% of the evidence pointing to the defendant being guilty and offer no other reasonable alternative to explain how the crime happened. Now, to convict these suspects of transporting narcotics for sale, the prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they knowingly possessed fentanyl, meth, and heroin, and that it wasn't just in the car without their knowledge. Okay, now we're ready to go back into the jury box. All right, you've seen the body cam footage and you've heard the suspects' voices. Heard the conflicted, evasive, and even desperate nature. You watched the foot chase, you saw the tasing, you've heard one of them say, "He told me to run." Now it's your turn to make sense of all of this. Let's break down what happened like a real jury. I want you to listen, not just with logic, but use your intuition also. All right, first let's talk about the initial stop. Did the officer have a valid legal cause to stop this vehicle? The footage starts with us seeing the dog being brought out. So it's going to be important for the jury to listen to what the testimony of the officer is on how this stop initially started. All right, now we get to the search part of it. Now, do you believe the K9 alert was legitimate and uncoached? The officer clearly states the dog alerted to the scent of drugs. Now, as a juror, do you trust that the alert was enough to establish probable cause? Once drugs are found in the woman's purse, did it link her personally, or could someone have planted those without her knowledge? All right, let's talk about the chase. What does her decision to run tell you? She says she was told to run by the guy. He ran straight to the cemetery. Does this all sound like innocent behavior to you? Was the use of force, including the taser, reasonable based on what you saw? All right, now let's ask a question for your intuition here. All right, does the amount of fentanyl and meth found make it hard to believe they didn't know what was in the car? All right, we heard that there was 20,000 pills and 12 pounds of meth. That's a big bust. Was it just poor decision making, or was it active drug trafficking? And let's take a step back from the law for just 1 second. When you watched the woman's body language, listened to her voice, and saw how both suspects acted, what did your gut tell you about them? Do you think these two were caught off guard by bad luck, or were they fully aware of what they were transporting through Navajo County? As a jury, your job is to weigh the credibility, conduct, and your own common sense, and not just to interpret the law based on the instructions given by the judge. So let me ask you, how would you vote on this one? Would it be guilty or not guilty? And if there was one particular moment in the video that made it clear, what was it for you? What we just witnessed is a textbook example of how a minor traffic stop turns into a major narcotics operation. From inconsistent stories to the trained K9 alert to a full-blown foot pursuit. This case had it all: drugs, deception, and desperation. The officers, they followed the law step by step. They escalated appropriately based on what they saw, heard, and most importantly, what they sensed. Let's be honest, this wasn't just about what was in the car. It was about how these two acted and what their behavior revealed. Now, this is all where intuition comes into play for police officers. The officers picked up on the inconsistencies, all right? The K9 officer, his experience told him that something wasn't right, and that intuitive spark led to a lawful search. That search uncovered 20,000 fentanyl pills, 12 pounds of meth, 2 pounds of heroin. That's well beyond what we would consider recreational use. It's clear, that's trafficking, plain and simple. Now, as we close this lecture, let me ask you, where did things go wrong for these two? What clues would you have picked up on if you were the officer? And if you were on this jury, what would be the deciding factor for your verdict? This incident really allowed us to have class on legal procedure, officer instincts, and evidence thresholds. If you learned something new today, let me know in the comments. What evidentiary standard do you think was most important here? And finally, what's your verdict? Guilty? Not guilty? Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, this is Advocacy Alchemy. I am Professor Ross. I'll see you tomorrow. Everyone have a good day. Be safe. And I'll see you tomorrow.